What is up, everyone? This is your boy AJ Tripp, and we got another Game According to Me podcast. This one, really quick, is just a podcast to talk about Jay Cutler going to the Miami Dolphins. And, of course, with me being here in Chicago, I was not a Jay Cutler fan. He lost me. He's actually his second year here, which was actually, ironically, the year that he helped the Bears get to the NFC Championship game against the Packers. But during that season, you talk about Jay Cutler being a franchise quarterback and everything like that, and he proved that he wasn't a franchise quarterback because they had to take away some of the stuff from him, game plan wise, and basically make him a game manager. So that's what he was. He was a game manager. They should have kept Kyle Orton. But what lost me was back-to-back weeks in that season. It was actually before the bye week. It was 2 home games. First against Seattle, the next against Washington. The game against Seattle, he got sacked 3, 4, 5 times in that game. And most of those sacks came on blitzes Seattle did, where the Bears had 5 wide receivers, so they manned up and they brought 6 guys, meaning that every lineman had to take a guy, and basically the free runner was coming at the quarterback, and he did, and the times that he got sacked, they were about him. It was on him. But everybody and their mama wanted to blame Jamarcus Webb, or wanted to blame the other offensive line, or wanted to blame Mike Martz for continuing to do, nobody in the backfield, 5 wide receiver sets. Things like that. And while on one hand that's a little bit true, that's a little bit blame, there's also a time, and Ron Jaworski said this at the time. There are times when you as the quarterback need to make the right decision, and that guy who's coming off free, that's your man. And that's just all you need to know, is that is your man. So you need to make a quick decision. But no, you can't blame Jay Cutler because he's got a rocket arm, and he's going, and we traded 2 picks for him. So it's gotta be the offensive line. Bullshit. No, it does not have to be that. It can be him, and it was him. That was strike number 1. Strike number 2 was the next week, a game against Washington, when he went out there, right? He went out there, and he threw 4 interceptions in the game to D'Angelo Hall. Now, D'Angelo Hall had a great year that year. He went to the Pro Bowl with 4 interceptions. He went to the Pro Bowl with 4 interceptions. Jay Cutler, it would have been just easier for Jay Cutler to pay him a ticket and send him to Hawaii, rather than throw 4 interceptions. Really? No. And then he had the nerve and the gall, the audacity in the post-game presser to sit up and say, D'Angelo Hall ain't nobody. If we were still playing, I would continue to throw the ball at him. Really? Really? And that right there proved to me that he was not a winner. And he was never going to be a winner. He was never going to be nothing but nobody. That was strike 2. Strike 3 was later on that year. They had a game against the New England Patriots here in Chicago. It was snowing like crazy, right? And on the broadcast, Phil Simms was talking about, how he was talking to Tom Brady, and how Tom Brady was, he liked to practice in for games like this with wet footballs or snowy footballs and things like that, so that he could know what to expect. Right? He had practice. He said he asked Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler says, "No, I just like to go out there and sling it." Strike three. He was never out. I never liked him ever since. I had to root against my own team so that they would realize that, that he wasn't the quarterback and that he needed to go. And fucking Phil Emery, I said it when he signed Jay Cutler to the 7-year, $156 million contract. And yes, it was it was not, I don't care if it was $54 million guaranteed. That doesn't fucking matter. He signed him to a 7-year, $156 million contract. 7 years, $156 million contract. When he should have been casted off then. He should have been gone 3 years ago. And that's why he got fired. Because of that dumbass move. He damn near put this franchise into, hell, giving him that contract. It's ridiculous. And now Jay Cutler is finally not a quarterback in the Chicago Bears. I can root for my team to win. Finally, even though they suck, I still can root for them to win. Now Jay Cutler, who was going to retire, but now has come out of retirement to play for the Miami Dolphins. And as Ryan Tannehill may be out for the year because of things going on. He had the knee injury and everything like that. So now he has the opportunity to play for his former offensive coordinator here. And, give him respect. This was, his best year here in Chicago was the year Adam Gase was the head coach. But that's not really saying anything. That's like saying that you are the tallest short person. His best year was that year, and basically he was the tallest short person that year as well. So, that's not saying much. But I guess the controversy is basically, that he's now got a job and Colin Kaepernick is not got a job. And listen, I don't know if I want to get into the Colin Kaepernick stuff. I really don't want to, but you can see and understand why it's this, because Adam Gase knows Jay Cutler, and he knows that Jay Cutler played well under him, and so this seems like this a great fit. And even though I said like the things I've just said, I don't think he is a good quarterback. I don't think he is anything like that. His arm talent is special. I don't think he would ever put it together. I think he will always be nothing better than a game manager. He is, and people call Alex Smith a game manager. I would say Alex Smith is just a little bit ahead of Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler may be more talented, but Alex Smith is not a turnover machine. I don't think, Alex Smith is really a game manager. Jay Cutler is a game manager. But again, I can understand why they would go to Jay Cutler. I can understand why this would happen. I can also understand why, they would also go to Colin Kaepernick, because apparently also Colin Kaepernick has said some things, I guess, glorifying, Fidel Castro, and obviously being in Miami, there's a big Cuban community down there. That's probably not only when they go over well with, the people down there who are against him because he took a knee on the anthem, sat down for the anthem, then took a knee for the anthem. But then then the Cuban community would not be for it because he is, he said some things glorifying Fidel Castro. So it just wasn't going to work down in Miami for Colin Kaepernick. But Jay Cutler is down there in Miami now, And on one hand, I guess you could say he's not on my team anymore, but I shouldn't care. But unfortunately, there are people here in Chicago who are still dumb enough to think that Jay Cutler was somehow an exceptional quarterback who just didn't, have the stuff around him, and that just doesn't matter. He was supposed to be a franchise quarterback. A franchise quarterback makes people around him better. Tom Brady has only had 2 Hall of Fame talents around him, Randy Moss and Rob Gronkowski. Wes Welker is a very good wide receiver. I don't know if he'll make the Hall of Fame, but he was a very good wide receiver during the time he was there. But he's only had 2. I'm only going to say 2 Hall of Fame talents to play alongside with him. But what he has done, he's won 5 Super Bowls. Peyton Manning, sure, I think he had great talent too. He's had great talent too, but he made Brandon Stokely and Austin Collie and Pierre Garçon and other guys. He made them better than they were. That's what franchise quarterbacks do. They make them better than were. So Jay Cutler should have made Johnny Knox better. Jay Cutler should have made Kellen Davis better. Jay Cutler should have made, whoever it was, Devin or Romashudu better. But he didn't. And then when they brought in Brandon Marshall and Martellus Bennett and Alshon Jeffrey, he still didn't play well with those guys on his team. He alienated them. I will still say that to this day, the reason why Martellus Bennett did not want to come to training camp wasn't because that he wanted a new contract. He wanted to go to training camp because he didn't want to play with Jay Cutler. And I think he kind of said it in that article he made when he called Jay Cutler the worst quarterback he's ever played with. I think that goes for the same for Alshon Jeffrey. Alshon Jeffrey didn't want to play with Jay Cutler. He really didn't. And even though Jay Cutler was going to be cut this year, he said, F it, I'm going to Philly. And I'll take a 1-year deal. I'll play my ass off with a young quarterback who didn't make a lot of mistakes last year. Who shows upside and promise instead of somebody who's 35, and never going to be nothing more than what he is. He's not going to be great, not going to be elite, just going to be average at best. And so listen, it just is what it is. So whatever it may be. But I thought I wanted to do something about this, and so I thought I would go ahead and do a little podcast about this. As always, my podcasts are also uploaded to YouTube, so this will be interesting as well. So, all right. I'm probably not going to go the full 15 minutes here because I think I'm done. But what I will do is for those who are listening on YouTube, post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think of this. Jay Cutler going to the Miami Dolphins. Give me your thoughts and your opinions on this. And as always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out. I think I'm just gonna let it go. I'm just gonna let the time run out for the next. Maybe I shouldn't let the next 10 minutes. I don't know. I got 58 seconds. So yeah, for the next couple of seconds, I'll let the time run out. But once again, thank you guys for listening, and thank you guys for listening and watching. Although there's not gonna be any pictures up on YouTube, but yes, thank you guys so much. It's Ranger Trip signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. I am out.